Hi, my name is Tomas Guevara, and this is the channel Rewriting the Reality. Did you know how much the James Webb Telescope cost? Subscribe to this channel and I will tell you. The James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, is expected to cost NASA $9.7 billion over 24 years. Of that amount, $8.8 billion was spent on spacecraft development between 2003 and 2021. $861 million is planned to support 5 years of operations. Adjusted for inflation to $2020, the lifetime cost to NASA will be approximately $10.8 billion. That is only NASA's portion. The European Space Agency provided the Ariane 5 launch vehicle and two of the Force Science instruments for an estimated cost of $763 million. The Canadian Space Agency contributed sensors and scientific instrumentation, which cost approximately $149 million. I certainly agreed with the exploration of our galaxies. But what about investing some money to understand what consciousness is? Right now, every organization, laboratory, and university is working alone, keeping crucial information only for themselves. I know that understanding the nature of consciousness and the workings of the perceptions mechanism will cost less than $100 million and can be done here in Costa Rica and can be done in less than 3 years, with my help. Right now, we are experiencing a revolution in our perception. But to generate such a significant and enormous change in our physical reality, it requires some quite dramatic expressions to be exposed. It requires an expansion of awareness. Now, when we expand awareness, we pay more attention. We become more highly sensitized. And in that, we generate precisely what we want, an expanded awareness. We are aware. But to be aware, we must present experiences. Concepts are only concepts. They can be somewhat understood intellectually, but until they are experienced, they are not real, they are merely concepts and theories. But, as we continue to expand and continue to widen our awareness, we are generating more and more experiences that encourage us to expand our awareness. For example, the science community believes consciousness is the same as awareness, and this is incorrect. It is not the mind either. They believe that consciousness arises or is sitting in the brain. With 20 specialists, chosen by me and under my supervision, we can set up the protocols to start the investigation and prove the nature of consciousness, and at the same time prove that black holes are only centers of energy. Then we can explain what the dark matter and energy are. This can be attained if most individuals move in the direction of discovering what their beliefs are by initially discovering what they are not. Collectively, we must present new experiences to ourselves to understand what consciousness is. How we have constructed our world, our societies, our governments, and our powers say a lot about ourselves, and cannot alter our reality in the traditional manners that we have incorporated throughout our history, such as wars or revolutions. This must be a revolution of a different type. This is a revolution of perception, not of might. And in that, the greatest weaponry that can ever be expressed is awareness and ideas, for they cannot be defeated. Regardless of what we can physically express, awareness and ideas cannot be destroyed. Therefore, this shift, this new type of revolution, also incorporates its pangs of discomfort and trauma, and that may be expressed in physical trauma, emotional trauma, mental trauma, and the trauma of awakening. But in that, they are all expressions of the shift itself, for they are the allowance of ourselves to not be hiding and to not be ignoring, and to be aware and to be more clearly defining ourselves, and to be aware of the importance of the individual, which has been somewhat expressed throughout the entirety of our history, but not strongly enough to affect the type of alterations that are being effected in this shift. This shift will not be accomplished by overthrowing governments. This shift will not be accomplished in world wars. This shift will be accomplished in masses and masses and masses of individuals recognizing the importance, the ultimate importance, and significance of each individual, and that there is no hierarchy. No individual is more powerful than any other individual, regardless of their physical status. We see that there is already tremendous, massive movement in association with that shift. We will also express the significance of the individual. Every individual that is becoming aware of shifting in any capacity is contributing to this massive revolution. We are not creating a utopia. We are not creating a reality of total bliss, and therefore, as this shift accomplishes itself, we will not be participating in a reality in which there is no conflict or in which there are no expressions that many of us will disagree with, or that many of us may view or incorporate the perception as being bad, for we will continue to be exploring a physical reality that incorporates in its blueprint the two main base elements of physical and emotion. Therefore, we will continue to explore the experiences of comfort and discomfort. We are also not eliminating beliefs, which are also a core element of the blueprint of this reality. Therefore, we are also not eliminating duplicity, which is the identification of good and bad or right or wrong. We will continue to incorporate some forms of structure, but in a different manner, in what we ideally all have been striving for millennia. For in this, whatever hierarchy we have chosen in any time framework, whatever governmental structure, whatever philosophy is behind the structure of any particular government, they all seek for what we term to be some greater good, but what becomes lost is the significance of each individual. The structure of the governments we have now is the importance of a few individuals, like Putin or Trump, and many other. And this is the identification of authority and false power, which is false power. What this shift is generating is the recognition of the inefficiency of this type of structure and the importance of the significance of everyone. What we will be doing, which is already occurring on what we may term to be a significant scale, regardless of how it is expressed, individuals are beginning to move in the direction of their power and their directedness, regardless of what direction it is. This is the reason that this wave that we are experiencing presently concerning perception is exceptionally important, for perception is a very significant element in our reality and is very significant in this shift in consciousness. That also involves what we view as right and wrong, and how absolutely we view what is right and wrong. People are moving quite strongly now in the direction of being aware of their power and their directions, and seeking out similarities, seeking out other individuals with commonalities in their expressions of self-directedness, even in what we view as terrorists. They are as absolute in the resolve of their rightness and their empowerment and of their self-directedness as any individual that moves in the perception of their rightness in expressing peacefully. It is the same coin. They are accomplishing the same action concerning this shift, for they are the expression of self-directedness, the importance of the individual, and the importance of individual freedom regardless of how it is being expressed. The manners that it is being expressed, it is allowing more and more individuals to be open to wider awareness, for they are presenting themselves with more experiences to allow themselves to be more aware and to be more clear with their guidelines in association with what they want and what they do not want, what they want to participate in and what they do not want to participate in, what they want their world to be and what they do not want their world to be. And as in any mass collective action of change, there is trauma. There is physical trauma and other trauma, for there is a struggle, which is reflected in each of us in our individual experiences. New, unknown, unfamiliar expressions are always initially met with skepticism and many times with resistance, but resistance also instigates motivation. And in that, it allows us to draw more information. Therefore, all of what is occurring in our world is purposeful and is an element of the shift. What is significant is allowing ourselves the ability to be aware of what we want and what we are generating in our individual experiences that are contributing to how we want our world to be, which is an element that many individuals have not quite grasped yet, that the actions that they incorporate in their mundane life, in their everyday comings and goings and interactions and actions, are a projection of energy that is contributing to the collective energy. And in that, if the individual is incorporating satisfaction and comfort, and directedness in their experience, they are contributing to lessening the trauma that is being experienced and they are contributing to widening our awareness. If an individual is generating fear, protection, conflict, argumentativeness, stubbornness or defense, or not incorporating responsibility for themselves, they are contributing to more conflict and more trauma. They may express to themselves and to other individuals that they disagree with violence or that they disagree with a war, or that they disagree with the methods of a terrorist, but in generating absolutes in association with their expressions and being defensive or protective or generating conflicting expressions in their interactions, they are contributing to the very expressions that they express they do not agree with. But this can change from one moment to the next. We have this power, but some people have a really hard time understanding that we can change our reality from one moment to the next, and it is like when we fall in love from one moment to the next and it looks utterly different. The key is perception, that when we change our perception, our reality does change, and dependent upon how we change our perception, our reality can change very dramatically. In some situations, it can change slightly, but in other situations, it can change in extremes in which it may appear very different from what it did previously. And that can occur quite literally in a moment, for it is a matter of our perception and how we perceive our reality, for our perception creates our reality. As was the case with the fall of the infamous Berlin Wall. This is the significance of genuinely being aware of one's energy and what we are doing, how it is being expressed, and how we are generating it. This also allows us to be more intentionally aware of creating what we want. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel.